The theme of inclusive insurance is particularly relevant for Nepal, and I am confident that this conference will serve as a catalyst for strengthening international cooperation and collaboration in addressing the challenges and opportunities that inclusive insurance presents. Conferences like this offer us a unique platform to exchange ideas, share best practices, and develop strategies that will promote the holistic development of the insurance sector, enabling it to meet today's realities and prepare for the demands of tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, the main objective of inclusive insurance is to provide insurance protection to all sections of society. This is an important step that strengthens the economic and social structure of the country. With inclusive insurance, various members of society, especially the poor and the deprived, can achieve economic security. Insurance provides them a sense of security in unexpected situations. Insurance is an important means of protecting people from financial adversities. Through this, they can keep their financial condition stable and remain safe in any unexpected event. Health and life insurance are included under inclusive insurance so that every person in the society can get medical facilities and the life security of their family can be ensured. There is a need to spread awareness in society about insurance and educate people about its importance. Various schemes and programs can be started for this. The government and insurance companies should work together in insurance, ensure that every person has access to insurance, whether they live in rural or urban areas. With inclusive insurance, we can not only strengthen the economic condition of the society, but also create a safe and capable society. We need to work collectively in this direction. Ladies and gentlemen, our country is particularly vulnerable to climate change, with around 80% of the population exposed to climate-related risks. One of the pressing challenges we face is the low level of insurance awareness, compounded by a significant insurance protection gap, which leaves many of our citizens vulnerable to growing threats. Insurance plays a pivotal role in managing the financial impacts of earthquakes, floods, and landslides, like catastrophic and emerging risks, especially climate-related risks, pose significant challenges to the insurance industry, affecting underwriting, investment, and the broader financial landscape.
I would like to take this opportunity to emphasize two key points. Firstly, the significance of protection gap and the role of inclusive insurance in a country like Nepal, and secondly, the strength of collaborative efforts in fostering inclusive insurance. Ladies and gentlemen, in today's world, we face unprecedented challenges, from climate change and natural disasters to economic uncertainties and social disparities. These risks disproportionately affect low-income households who often lack the financial tools to recover when disasters strike. For instance, the recent unexpected extreme rainfall for a duration of 3 days in September left some 236 people dead and 165 injured, with financial losses amounting to billions of Nepali rupees. And it is just a representative event. The most worrying aspect is that The most vulnerable groups who are disproportionately impacted by climate-related risks and natural disasters are the very ones without access to insurance. Therefore, the importance of insurance has become even more critical in these times of increasing uncertainty. Also, it is not just about managing risks, it is about providing hope and security to the most vulnerable. This is where inclusive insurance becomes a lifeline for those who need it most. It provides affordable and accessible risk protection to the people who are often excluded from traditional insurance markets, especially low-income groups, rural populations, and marginalized communities. Ladies and gentlemen, inclusive insurance is not just a financial product. It is a tool for empowerment and resilience. It enables the affected group to recover from the loss and help communities break free from the cycle of poverty, where one disaster could otherwise push them into long-term financial hardship. However, despite its critical importance, inclusive insurance cannot succeed in isolation. It requires a strong partnership between key stakeholders, the government, the regulatory body, the insurance industry, and global community. It is not enough for each stakeholder to work within their own scope. Rather, success comes from working together. Without such collaboration, the system we build may lack the sustainability and risk that is required to truly protect vulnerable populations. Effective collaborations begin with open lines of communication to share information, discuss challenges, and align on common goals. Collaboration also requires investment in capacity building and knowledge sharing. Events like this play a crucial role in fostering such collaboration, and we are highly privileged to organize this event in the beautiful country, Nepal. Additionally, it's important to emphasize that the Nepalese insurance industry is at a pivotal moment with the potential to undergo a significant transformation. The newly enacted Insurance Act of 2022 has laid the groundwork for the promotion and development of inclusive insurance, introducing key initiatives such as the Insurance Development Fund and Policy Holder Protection Fund. Moreover, the government of Nepal has prioritized inclusive insurance in its current fiscal policy, signaling strong support for its expansion and growth. Therefore, there is much potential and scope of advancements in insurance industry, and we need to work hand in hand to promote inclusive insurance. We have been fortunate to receive ongoing support from the government and the global community, and I am confident that this support will continue in future as well. A platform like this will undoubtedly foster new collaborations and initiatives moving forward. I encourage each and every one of you to take the insights and knowledge gained here and apply them within your own area of influence. Let us leverage the discussion we will have, the relationship we will build, and the ideas that will be shared in duration of next 4 days to drive meaningful change in our communities. In conclusion, I want to emphasize that the journey toward achieving inclusive insurance is a challenging but a vital one. And the only way we can truly build a future where affordable insurance within the reach of all is through collective efforts. I really appreciate the continuous efforts of the steering committee, local organizing committee, and other subcommittees, including the representatives of Minigri Foundation, Micro Insurance Network, Nepal Insurance Association, Life Insurance Association of Nepal, Nepal Micro Insurance Association, and to all people involved who have made this conference reality. Let us continue to work together to ensure that inclusive insurance becomes more than just a topic of discussion, but a reality that is accessible to every household regardless of income level. Thank you all for your participation, and once again a warm welcome to everyone. I wish you all a productive and successful conference. Thank you.
The ICII 2024 has given a beacon of knowledge sharing and innovation in the field of inclusive insurance for the past 2 decades. It provides a platform where expert, policymaker, regulator, practitioner, and together with the shared mission to explore the advanced insurance solution for the vulnerable communities and the low-income household. We are proud to continue this tradition here in Nepal. This year's conference theme is particularly timely and essential. The agenda will be focused on climate risk insurance, digital innovation, overcoming barrier to scaling inclusive insurance, with the plenary and the parallel session on the topics such as climate changes and disaster risk finance, bridging the insurance gap, challenge and opportunity, and the role of technology in the expanding access to insurance, the 2024 Micro-Insurance Network, landscape of the micro-insurance, to name a few, and all of which we are crucial topics in today, rapidly evolving risk landscape as we witness the growing impact of the climate changes, especially in the vulnerable region, and need the robust, innovative insurance solution has never more risen. Digital advancement, on the other hand, are unlocking new opportunity to bridge the gap and bring inclusive insurance to previously unreachable communities. We are pleased to have an incredible line of 25 sessions, including keynote speech, interactive workshop, and insightful panel discussion. This session will be delved into heart of these critical themes, offering actionable solutions that can help protect the financial resilience and unserved population globally. Additionally, we will be hosting field visit that offer a chance for the participants who observe inclusive insurance program in action, witnessing firsthand in the impact of this initiative in local communities here in Nepal. Over the next few days, I encourage all of you to engage deeply in the discussion, share insight, and network with the peer of ground of the world. Together, through the collaboration and the shared knowledge, we can create the future where inclusive insurance is not a concept, but it is the reality for all. I'm confident that ICII 2024 will provide us the innovative idea, fresh perspective, and exceptional solution. Together, we can continue to build a future and where insurance is inclusive, protective, accessible, and everyone, for especially those who needs it most. Before I close, I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to organization, partner, volunteer who have worked tirelessly to bring this event live. I also extend my sincere gratitude to our sponsor, JB Boda Group, KMD Dastur Reinsurance Broker, Prudent Insurance Broker, Monoz Reinsurance Broker, Protection Reinsurance Broker, and UIB Asia Reinsurance Broker, Nepal Reinsurance, Himalayan Re, International Media Partner, the Insurance Time from India, Medicare Support Team, Nepal Medicity, and Nepal Ambulance Service. All of us, the life, non-life, and the micro-insurance company who support made this event possible. Finally, I would like to thank the speaker, panelists, and participants for this sharing the expertise and dedication to this important causes. Once again, I would like to warmly welcome to our esteemed guests to ICII 2024 and to Nepal, while engaging with the Nepalese insurance industry and gain valuable insight for this conference. I also encourage to take some time to experience the rich culture, heritage, and the natural beauty that Nepal has to offer. From the breathtaking Himalayas to vibrant traditions of our people, Nepal offers an unforgettable experience beyond business. We hope let's stay here in both productive and enjoyable. Let's work together to make this event not only memorable but impactful. Thank you very much.
An organisation that has played a considerable part in pushing the sector forward, promoting innovation, and forging partnerships and links between organisations that are bound by the shared pursuit of inclusion. I also feel a great sense of responsibility to help push the sector forward and to continue working towards a world where people of all income levels are more resilient to everyday risks. In fact, that last sentence is the vision of the Microinsurance Network. And one of the ways that we try and achieve our vision is through this event and this conference, which we've been collaborating with Munich Re Foundation since the beginning in 2005, when the microinsurance network was known as the CGAP Working Group on Microinsurance back then. As I mentioned, hasn't been mentioned previously, but this is the 20th anniversary of the conference, and I can only applaud Munich Re Foundation and particularly Dirk Reinhardt for his continued efforts at driving this conference forward. Now, I don't need to stand here and tell you about the benefits and the positive impact effective insurance solutions can have on vulnerable populations. Nor do I need to stand here and tell you about the risks that people face. When only a few weeks ago, catastrophic rains and flooding hit this city only a few weeks ago. But what I will say is that the need to better manage these risks has never been greater, and especially in Asia, where according to the World Meteorological Organization, Asia is the world's most disaster-prone region, with more than 80 disasters affecting 50 million people in 2022 alone. This makes it even more important for us to work together and find sustainable insurance for managing risks. And while we're on the topic of managing risks, I believe we should start looking beyond insurance and start looking at managing risks in a more holistic way. Insurance is but one of the tools at our disposal. That said, we still need to improve it, we still need to perfect it, and we still need to ensure that we're offering value to our clients. But we must also look at see how we can combine insurance with other services, whether those services are formal risk coping mechanisms like credit or savings, or more informal ones that reduce the impact of the risk and even the likelihood of the risk occurring. In my former position, we conducted a study on an index insurance product for maize producers in Senegal. And we tried to understand what the clients appreciated most about the product. And to our surprise, the actual insurance product was not the primary thing that they appreciated, even for those who received the payout. What they appreciated most was the capacity building sessions on good farming practices that they received that was combined with that product. And this tells me that standalone products can have so much more impact if they're coupled with additional services that are more tangible. So let me close my message by saying thank you to our hosts for welcoming us to this beautiful city. I was last here in Kathmandu 25 years ago as a young man thinking about what can be done to make the world a better place. And here we are today opening this conference that aims to drive inclusion and improve resilience. So on behalf of the Microinsurance Network, we welcome you to the ICII 2024 and urge you to take full advantage of being under the same roof with those that share the same passion and drive to close the protection gap and build a better future for all. Thank you very much.
We feel that Nepal is the ideal place to host this conference, as Nepal has undertaken a lot of efforts to develop the inclusive insurance sector. This is evidenced by just recent regulation on microinsurance that has been passed and many other efforts in terms of innovating in regulation. There's also a growing focus of the insurance industry on this topic. It's again evidenced by, I think, around 250 participants here from the Nepali insurance industry, and I think this shows the overwhelming interest in the topic. And the dedicated Nepal Microinsurance Association has just been founded a couple months ago. And as it was mentioned before, just a few weeks ago, Nepal was hit by a natural disaster with a heavy rainfall, which led to immense flooding and landslides, and there were many lives lost, and people lost their homes, and the economic losses were quite significant. And of course, it's not just Nepal, it's the whole world that is heavily affected by climate change. We have more than 3 billion people worldwide being vulnerable to the effects of climate change, and this is especially the low-income populations in low and middle-income countries that are hit hardest. And they're exposed to extreme weather events and other risks relating to climate change, and they often suffer income loss, food insecurity, adverse health effects, and displacement. So these recent events and these numbers, they're an urgent reminder that protection against climate risk is really necessary, and insurance can play an important role in this. But obviously, inclusive insurance is not just about climate risk. It's about protecting low-income and vulnerable people against all kinds of risks. And by doing so, insurance can contribute to achieving the UN Sustainable Development Goals. The global community has 6 more years to actually achieve the SDGs, but this year's progress report again has shown that current progress falls short of what is required. And there, I could mention a lot of examples, but especially zero hunger is one of the SDGs that is particularly off track. And there's a recent UN report showing that the world has been set back 15 years in respect to hunger, with 1 in 11 people worldwide facing hunger. But there is potential for success, and insurance can play an important role in this. Insurance contributes to a number of SDGs, and we will hear more about this in the video message by Jeffrey Sachs later on in the session. So inclusive insurance can help build resilience of millions of people who are still left without protection. And this means all of you here, all of us here in this room can actually contribute to this. The insurance industry can use its core competencies to close the protection gap. It can use its know-how in risk assessment, risk management, risk transfer, to design and implement the right kind of insurance solutions for households, for businesses, especially in the informal sector and the public sector. And on a larger scale, it can advise governments to risk financing and risk management. But of course, it's not only the insurance industry, it's all the other stakeholders too that are vital. We need the regulators and the policymakers to create the right kind of environment. We need the MFIs for the last mile to the customer. We need financing institutions, international organizations, development practitioners, donors, and I could go on with this list. I think you get the picture. So everyone in this room can actually play an important role in developing inclusive insurance and making sustainable development a reality. So there's also one SDG that stresses importance of partnerships and collaboration. And this is what this conference is all about. It's about having experts from all different fields, from all over the world, come together and get in contact and profit from being together in this area. So this conference is all about bringing these stakeholders together. It's about sharing knowledge and experience. It's about learning from success stories, but maybe also from failures. It's about making connections and collaborating when it comes to finding solutions. And before I end, let me say that I'm very, very proud that the ICII 2024 is actually the 20th edition of this conference. And this conference was initiated by Munich Re Foundation many years ago. And let me use this opportunity for a special thanks to my colleague, Dirk Reinhardt. And I know many of you know him, he's up here in the front. And Dirk initiated this conference in 2005 and has been in charge of it ever since and has developed it into this great event. So kudos and thanks to you. So for this ICII, we've put together 25 great sessions on various topics. And thank you all to all the many content partners and all the speakers from all over the place who are contributing to these sessions. And thank you also to the steering committee of this conference for putting the agenda together. So now I encourage you to use this opportunity to learn, to connect, to be inspired and create solutions together to protect the many who are not protected today. Thank you very much, and I wish you all a successful conference.
Insurance has the power to transform, ladies and gentlemen. Use it well, and we can indeed create insurance for all. Let me clarify what I mean with an inspiring story about an entrepreneur named Sita from a village in the Himalayan foothills, a serene community where the air is crisp and agriculture the primary livelihood. Sita found that climate change increasingly threatened her way of life with floods, droughts, and landslides. Seeking a solution, she started a small organic farm focused on sustainable practices. However, she found that erratic climate conditions continued to put her crops at risk. She then discovered microinsurance, securing a policy protecting her crops from weather risks. This safety net enabled her to invest in better farming techniques and diversify her produce. When a severe flood hit her village, Sita's farm survived thanks to the insurance payout that helped her rebuild. Better still, the benefits of Sita's new insurance extended to her family. The financial stability it provided allowed her husband to stay home to support and strengthen the farm rather than migrating for work, and it gave the family the means to keep their children in school. Insurance and its innovations can protect livelihoods and foster resilience against natural catastrophes and climate change. When accessible to all, especially vulnerable communities, insurance can bring stability and hope to families like Sita's. Indeed, we can all bolster vulnerable communities through more and stronger collaborative efforts to steadily close the wide insurance gaps that hinder our region's development efforts. That is my theme today, Insurance for All, Tackling Climate Challenges and Closing the Protection Gap. Insurance also eases fiscal burdens as a counter-cyclical mechanism, better preparing governments for shocks. As we all know, the global economy is increasingly susceptible to geopolitical tensions, pandemics, financial crisis, and the like. Climate change, technological disruptions, and demographic shifts exacerbate the vulnerability. These disruptions strain public finances and create substantial contingent liability. They can stall growth and worsen inequalities by diverting resources from productive uses to cover these costs. Yet, governments can better prepare for economic fluctuations by implementing counter-cyclical mechanisms, including insurance. This can make liquidity immediately available following disasters and reduce other budget-straining fiscal adjustments. And because insurance helps transfer risk from individuals and businesses to insurers, this too can ease the financial burden of governments during a crisis. Likewise, with significant role in stabilizing public finances, life insurance and pensions are key to mobilize contractual savings through premiums. When intermediated through the capital market, these savings can be invested in long-term resilient infrastructure and sustainable development projects. This incentivizes risk-reducing behavior and contributes to a nation's economic growth and stability. However, our region suffers a wide insurance and pensions protection gap. The difference between what would be optimal financial protection and actual uptake among people and governments, which is also a pressing global issue. This is particularly so given the escalating catastrophic risk I've already pointed to, not to mention growing healthcare issues and looming pension shortfalls as our societies age. Without adequate insurance, many individuals, businesses, and economies are dangerously exposed. Globally, the protection gap is alarmingly massive. 3/4 of risk exposures remain unprotected by insurance, most significantly in emerging markets, where a staggering 95% of risk exposure is uninsured. The protection gap was $1.83 trillion in premium equivalent terms in 2022, according to Swiss Re's Resilience Index, well up from $1.5 trillion in 2018. In Asia Pacific, the protection gap is likewise wide, estimated at $886 billion in premium terms, up 38% from 2017, and now nearly half the global gap. Only 9% of its economic losses, or $6 billion are covered by insurance. The catastrophic protection gap is also prominent. For instance, the impact of risks from natural hazards in Asia alone is estimated about $280 billion with only 120 billion insured. The need for action is critical. Other gaps underscore the point. 3 in 4 households in Asia are in financial danger if a breadwinner dies. For example, this mortality protection gap was $83 trillion in 2019 and could reach $119 trillion by 2030, say some estimates. The health protection gap, or the shortfall between people's healthcare needs and the services they can afford, was $1.8 trillion in 2019, or 10% of the average annual household income. This is an important consideration as Asia rapidly ages. Many Asian countries lack robust social protection systems, and their pension coverage ratios are very low. People aged over 60 are expected to make up 25% of Asia Pacific's population by 2050, up from 14% in 2020. The region will face a pension savings shortfall of $3.8 trillion per year. The threat of climate risk hangs over all this, and the Asia Pacific, by some estimates, is likely to suffer the worst economic consequences. Asia is responsible for 35% of the world's greenhouse gas emissions and 60% of the coal consumption, according to the IMF, and several of its key economic sectors are vulnerable to climate change impacts. Indeed, the region could lose 26.5% of its GDP by 2050 if no mitigating actions are taken, according to the Swiss Re Institute. Take flooding, for example. 75% of the global annual damage to capital stock from riverine flooding is likely to occur in Asia, threatening buildings, machinery, and infrastructure. Lethal heat waves also loom. 600 million to 1 billion people in Asia may live in areas with a non-zero probability of lethal heat waves if no adaptation and mitigation measures are taken. The increased strain on heat and humidity on healthcare and labor productivity could put $2.8 trillion to $4.7 trillion of Asia's GDP at risk, notes McKinsey and Company. And these high temperature increase energy demand for cooling, leaving the energy sector more susceptible to climate-related disruptions amid Asia's heavy reliance on fossil fuels for electricity generation. Meanwhile, crop and livestock losses averaging $123 billion annually in Asia, or 5% of the global agricultural GDP, threaten food security and the livelihoods of farmers and fishermen, according to the FAO. Finally, 63% of Asia's GDP, equivalent to $19 trillion, is at risk due to biodiversity and nature-related losses, according to the World Economic Forum. A clear understanding of the climate risk and how insurance can contribute to building societal resilience is therefore called for. We need to acknowledge that the physical, transition, liability, and biodiversity risks are interconnected to effectively close protection gaps. Another anecdote will clarify what I mean. In a small village named Dava, at the heart of a lush and thriving forest, villagers lived in harmony with nature, well aware of the interconnectedness of the ecosystems. One day, a powerful storm swept through the valley, uprooting trees, destroying homes, and overflowing river banks. The village council decided to take proactive action to mitigate future risks from extreme weather events by reinforcing the roofs of their homes and planting more resilient tree species. As the world outside Dava began to shift towards greener energy, the villagers adapted their traditional farming and energy use to more sustainable practices by investing in green technology. Yet they had become aware that they faced a transition risk in going green and therefore implemented a phased ban on diesel-powered generators and a shift to solar power, thereby ensuring a just transition. The villagers also discovered that chemical discharge from a nearby factory was polluting the river, harming local wildlife and also their health. They understood that loss of certain species disrupted ecological balance, leaving their communities more vulnerable to biodiversity and other risks. To manage it, the villagers turned to powerful insurance tools, pooling their resources to create a community insurance fund that helped them rebuild after storms, transition to sustainable practices, and cover other maintenance-related costs. As noted, ladies and gentlemen, many millions of people in our region are either uninsured or underinsured. We can help such people better tap into insurance and other financial products to meet the challenges through measures that concentrate on affordability, accessibility, awareness, better administration, and reinforcing trust. The vulnerable people cannot afford insurance premiums. The cost of life insurance is beyond reach. Many people are without financial protection when a family breadwinner dies, and even in jurisdictions with universal health coverage, premiums for supplementary private health insurance are prohibitively high. Many people instead delay or forego medical treatment. Farmers already working on thin margins face high crop and livestock insurance premiums, often unaffordable with government subsidies, and in countries exposed to frequent exposure to severe storm events, the high cost of earthquakes, typhoon, and flood insurance means many residents do not use it. And yet, these economic barriers are not insurmountable. With targeted interventions such as subsidies to make insurance more affordable, tailored microinsurance products, and innovative distribution models, we can ensure that vulnerable populations have the protection they need. Insurance agents struggle to reach potential clients on many remote islands and in regions in a mountainous terrain, leaving many people without coverage. Even as digital platforms proliferate, many rural residents still lack internet or smartphones or lack digital literacy. They need to tap into digital insurance platforms and deploy climate fintech. But accessibility can be improved with better infrastructure, more digital literacy, transparent practices, and more trust through community engagement. Many people still rely on informal insurance mechanisms during crisis, such as family networks, rather than formal insurance products. Traditional beliefs and poor knowledge on how insurance works only worsen enrollment rates and hinder broader coverage. Addressing these awareness gaps requires our collective effort. By leveraging our positions as local leaders, community organizations, and policymakers, we can effectively disseminate information and increase awareness about the benefits of insurance and how to access it. Extensive paperwork and multiple visits to insurance offices discourages eligible individuals from signing up. Language barriers and slow and inefficient procedures for claiming insurance benefit can also deter potential clients. Addressing administrative complexities require simpler procedures, less paperwork, and more use of technology to streamline processes. By making insurance more user-friendly, we can increase uptake amongst the vulnerable populations. Many people believe that insurance companies are more interested in profits than in providing genuine support. Stories of denied and delayed claims and complicated claim processes exacerbate this distrust. Insurance providers must therefore improve transparency, simplify their claim processes, and build strong relationships with communities through consistent and reliable service and enhancing insurance literacy. The insurance sector must also endeavor to firmly address the protection gap through innovation, technology, partnerships, better regulation, consumer protection, and monitoring and evaluation. In driving product innovation, the sector must design and pilot innovative insurance solutions that cover losses to assets, lives, and incomes. In this, it should operate through a climate lens and also a gender lens. It should include microinsurance, takaful, and parametric products, business interruption, and de-risking products for safeguarding the commercial reliability of projects to incentivize green lending. To enhance process innovation, it needs to streamline underwriting and claims processes using digital tools and personalizing insurance plans using data analytics for improved efficiency and customer satisfaction. In leveraging technology, the industry should develop and deploy digital platforms like mobile apps and online portals to increase accessibility and convenience. It should use predictive analytics with the help of artificial intelligence and big data for enhanced risk assessment, personalized pricing, efficient customer service, and integrating blockchain for secure transactions. To foster public-private partnerships, the sector needs to collaborate with government agencies to develop inclusive insurance schemes for enhanced reach and impact of insurance programs. In advocating proportionate and enabling regulations, regulatory bodies should promote policies encouraging innovation and competition. Regulatory sandboxes can test new insurance products and technologies to ensure safe and effective introduction of insurance solutions. Ensuring consumer protection, meanwhile, requires the sector to protect consumer rights and build trust in insurance, educate about risk and available insurance options, and advance transparency and fairness. And for effectively monitoring and evaluating results, the sector must regularly review progress and the impact of actions to ensure improvement and adaptation of strategies to bridge protection gaps. The Asian Development Bank can help in several ways to help close the protection gap by financing insurance projects and providing technical assistance support for pilot programs, training, and the like. ADB currently is financing projects and offers technical assistance to governments, insurance regulatory agencies, and pension organizations in designing and implementing effective insurance and pension schemes. It helps develop early warning systems for natural catastrophes, supports training programs, provides policy advice, and helps develop regulatory frameworks. In providing funding to pilot insurance products tailored for low-income populations, like crop insurance for farmers, the ADB is interested to look at more innovative options. ADB will soon pilot financial de-risking solutions such as energy efficiency and savings insurance to incentivize green lending to SMEs. ADB is piloting the development and implementation of innovative financial risk management products such as coral reef insurance to protect coastal shores, assets, infrastructures, and livelihoods. It has also facilitated partnerships between governments and private insurers to expand coverage and make insurance more affordable by establishing insurance pool both at the sovereign and sub-sovereign levels. ADB integrates insurance to mitigate risk and leverage capital markets to mobilize funds from institutional investors through green and blue bonds for sustainable developments. And our efforts include funding and designing social safety net programs, including shock-responsive social protection to provide financial assistance to the poorest and most vulnerable. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, Nepal holds a special place in the heart of Buddhism as the birthplace of Siddhartha Gautama. This spiritual heritage teaches us compassion, non-violence, and wisdom. The Buddha's profound words provide a fitting close. In the end, only three things matter: how much you loved, how gently you lived, and how gracefully you let go of things not meant for you. These words are the essence of the insurance industry's mission: to protect, to care, and to provide peace of mind. It is our duty to help bridge the insurance protection gap and ensure everyone has access. Thank you to all of you for your commitment and dedication.
यस्तै बीमा बैंक र शेयर बजार सम्बन्धी सम्पूर्ण जानकारीका लागि बीमा पोस्टको युट्युब च्यानललाई लाइक, शेयर र सब्स्क्राइब गर्न नभुल्नुहोला। धन्यवाद।